How did you get to New York City?
Oh, wow. How did I get to New York City? Okay, I came here. This is going to be a long story, but I came here 18 years ago, and I got to New York City because I was scouted when I was in Ohio, when I was at Ohio State. And from Ohio State, I got an agency that was in Europe. A week after I got scouted, I was walking haute couture. And then the agency that ended up scouting me, they were a Chicago agency, and they decided, duh, you're American, you need to like work in New York. So then right after Italy, I came right to New York.
Was that a world you had hoped to work in?
Oh my God. I mean, coming from the farmlands of Ohio, one can only dream of, I guess, like being in a big city or in this world. If I'm being honest, my upbringing was like really closed and I was very sheltered. So just like me going, I felt like to Ohio State was like a huge leap. And then all of a sudden I'm getting scouted. And then like a week later, I'm in Europe. And then like now I'm living in New York. I couldn't even fathom that something like this was even possible. I didn't even think, for me, the possibility of living in New York, let alone now I've been in New York for like 18 years, staying in New York would have been something that was feasible.
Tell me about the life of the new model. What do you do? You go to Italy for your first venture, it sounds like.
Yeah. Oh my God. You go to Italy and you do these things. First of all, you live with other girls that are also models that eat your food and they take your clothes, and then you all try to go to these same things called castings, and you all try to get the same job. It's an interesting way to go about the world, and also none of you speak the same language. So then you go and you do this, you make friends, but you're also like kind of competing against each other. And then you're also like eating the food, and then girls stay out really late. And then girls sometimes who don't want to go out, they're like trying to get sleep. And then the other girls are like trying to sneak in to not wake everyone up. It is just fun. It is like it's probably equivalent to being in college, but not having to go to any classes. And that's kind of what Italy was like for me. It was fast-paced, so cosmopolitan. There were so many people around, but like you're like trying to like interact with them with like the few English that they know, and then you're trying to kind of speak their language. But you're dancing, you're like eating out, you're like making friends really fast. And then sometimes your best friend who you're living with for 3 months ends up going back home, and then you have to like kind of start all over and make another new friend. It was a kind of like the perfect way to start off your 20s because through all of this like travel and being away from home, you really kind of have to like yourself. So like I kind of learned the things right away, like what do I like? And that was kind of fun to know myself in that way.
So it sounds like from Italy, you came to New York fairly quickly thereafter.
Yeah.
So what was your expectation of what your life was going to be here? You had a contract with an agency. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, kind of. You end up just being signed with an agency, and luckily, I had a really great booker, which is like an agent. And she asked me the question of like, do you want to be famous or do you want to make money? And I was like, this is a trick question. And I was like, I want to make money. So right away, she kind of like put me sort of in this career path that was really great for me. And kind of like through her vision and mentorship, I ended up working really well. And knock on wood, I'm still working really well. I love my clients. Some of my clients I've been with for a really long time. I used to be with Donna Karan. I think I was with her for like 11 years. And then I met Hugo Boss a lot. They're like my favorite people in the world. I've been with them probably for like 10 years. Max Mara, I've also been with them for a really long time. And it's now a world where like the people who book me, I think of them as like friends and kind of family. And then the other models who have come in too, we've just all become really close.
The path, those two paths, the path to money and the path to fame.
Yeah.
How are they different?
don't know because I picked the other. But I do have a few girlfriends that probably wanted to be a little bit more famous. You know, I think it's also true sometimes. It's like the perception of what it's like kind of like the perception you put out there, you know, and I can think of it in terms of like, I don't know, like an Instagram lifestyle. It's like everything is curated and it's like people want to be famous, but that doesn't necessarily equate to having a stable income or even being happy. And I think that for some people, being in a magazine or being like on a billboard, it's like great at that moment, but those are kind of like the magazine jumps, they don't pay good. So you're just kind of getting visibility, but you're not really able to pay your rent.
The path to wealth or the path to money, the path you chose, tell me about that. How does that path actually create money and financial opportunities? I
think that for me, I was lucky to be in an industry where I had a high income stream kind of from a young age. And I also know that I was never much of a spender. I was a little bit more of a saver. And I kind of get that from my mom, but she sort of taught me the value of money. She taught me the value of investing. So early on, kind of in my 20s, I was very just smart with the income that I was earning, because I really thought my lifespan of this job was really going to be maybe 10 years. Luckily, it's been like over 10, like I'm inching towards 20 years, which has kind of been great. But yeah, I was able to just like think about the value of like, of me wanting, I was able to think about me saving money and like how that could like be like more valuable to me than just like a pair of shoes.
So the life of the model in New York, I assume for that entire period, you're here.
Yeah.
Are you mostly working here? Are you traveling throughout the world? What is the, the first 5 to 10 years you were working in this world? What does that look like?
A little bit of both. I was going between New York and Asia a lot. I'm a Filipino-Hungarian, so just my look worked really well in Asia. I did a lot of television commercials, and I just like, I don't know, I just like worked really, really well. They like loved that kind of like Asian, but sort of like Western appeal or Western look. So that was probably like maybe 3 or 4 years of working in Hong Kong, working in Singapore. I would work in Thailand, and then kind of always coming back to New York, and then also still getting FaceTime with like my regular clients.
What pays the best?
The
that's commercials, like where is the money?
Man. You know what pays the best now? I don't know. The industry's changed so much. I think probably what pays the best. I mean, I know like the girls that make good money, like I bet an alcohol campaign, anything beauty would pay really, really good. An alcohol campaign, but you want like usage to be global. That's really what is going to pay you a lot is like the usage rates.
Did you the whole time have, I think you said earlier that you thought your duration of working in this world would be a lot shorter than it ended up being. Did you think about pivoting to something else during the roughly 20 years you've been doing this? Or did the jobs just keep coming in where you didn't really need to do that?
A little bit of both. I took kind of like a sabbatical from modeling for a little bit. And then I decided to go back to school, and I ended up going to FIT. Also, my agents were super supportive. Every now and then I would still work during the day, but I would take all my classes at night. And then after that, I ended up getting like a really great internship with like kind of like a fashion company that was a startup. And I really loved them, and I loved working with them. And I was kind of like building their social media platform. So I was doing like social media integration. And then there was a moment when I asked, oh, it's so funny. I was like, you like me, I like you. Like we work great together. Like hire me. And they were just like, we really can only afford you as an intern. And it was after that where I was like, I'm just like gonna go back to modeling and see what happens. And then like the next 3 years ended up being like the best 3 years I ever worked.
Is the world of the New York international model, I think there's a perception that it's particularly glamorous and exciting. Has that been your experience? What do people not understand about what the day in and day out life typically of somebody who's working in that field looks like?
I mean, for me, it's like, I think it's so not exciting. I think, honestly, the people that are like behind the cameras and like doing the creative stuff is like really appealing. And I kind of always want to like be part of it, but I know that like I shouldn't be part of it, but like I have to execute their vision. And I'm like, oh, but I want to be in the room creating it. But like, you know, it is, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's glamorous about it. I was, again, I was lucky enough to be on this TV show. It was Project Runway. And I was in the first season, and all of that was like at a time that was really great. It got me such good exposure. But I can say it's just a job, and I don't know, it's just, in the end, it's clothes. We're not curing cancer. Yeah, it's just a job. And it luckily, after the job is over, I can kind of like go into my other normal life. I don't have to really take the work with me, which is nice. Because
you work in sprints, right? These are 4-day shoots, 2-day shoots, 6-day shoots, and there's a focus period of work, and then you're off for a while. What does it look? What does the day in and day look like?
Sometimes it's like, okay, we got to get to the end. So yeah, sometimes it is. It is a sprint, and you kind of know. I guess with, you know, any other job, you sort of like know your seasons. So, you know, January and February are crazy. Like March is sort of slow. And then like April like picks up, and then there's kind of like a nice curve. And then you kind of slow down around November. And then December is when everyone finds their ad dollars. And then that's when it becomes busy again. So yeah, there's kind of like a cadence to it.
Why is January and February particularly busy?
Fashion week starts in February, and then it's like the big fashion shows happen. So designers are prepping and doing last fittings in January. So it's like I'll go in and I'll try the line on, or they'll build the collection. And then February starts, and it's like fashion week shows, and then after they have something called market, and that's where all the buyers come in, and then they buy the collection that you're going to see in the stores.
For someone who knows nothing about this world, what are the big fashion events globally every year?
Oh, great question. I mean, it's Fashion Week. It's
Fashion Week is here in New York.
Fashion Week is here. Okay. It's also in Italy. It's in Paris. I would also think coming up, I mean, the Oscars just happened, so I feel like that for designers is really big. I think probably the Met Gala. And probably the Met Gala is like a big fashion event that would happen in New York.
How so? What is the Met Gala exactly, and how does fashion fit into that?
It's like Anna Wintour decides the guest list, and you know, it's a night of fashion and art, and there's always like a theme, and the theme could be, I think one year it was camp, and it's like, how do you interpret that in however you're dressing? So the guest will be dressed by designers, and a lot of it is like one-of-a-kind pieces, and oftentimes the designers accompany the guest. So it's a way to have, for designers to just, I guess, have exposure of like their beautiful pieces on a body.
Did you ever consider leaving New York?
There was a time I thought I was going to live in Hong Kong. It was, at one point, it was like my favorite city. And then I realized I didn't want to live in Hong Kong. The smog was so bad. My skin was breaking out. And I just like missed, I missed my then boyfriend. I just like missed my friends. I missed a lot of the comfort that I had in New York.
Because you stayed here, I'm assuming this place must mean a lot to you.
I love
what is it about New York that has kept you here, other than the things you just mentioned? What do you like about it?
Wow. God, I just love her as as like a living entity. I mean, it's like I can go, there's so many options. It's like, even though I live in New York, I couldn't, in my lifetime, I will not be able to discover everything in New York. And to me, that's like exciting. It's like all art comes through here. All music comes through here. New restaurants are coming through here. There's like such a space of creativity and, I don't know, really amazing like immigrant culture from different parts of the world that I can have through food, through music, through art. I can be in the subway and, you know, I can like see people of all shades of color and probably different economic backgrounds, all in like one centralized place going to like their destination in the morning. I just love what people bring to the table about New York. With New York, just, you know, you have your bodega that you always go to and you know the guy every time, you know, you come in and he's just like, hey boss, and you're like, hey boss, and he knows exactly that you're going to get Pocky and probably Haribo candy. And there's like this connection that you have with people in like the distances are like within a few block radiuses and it's like they're part of like your ecosystem. I just love that. I just love that.
I know you have moved into the world of illustration, right?
Yes.
When did that start?
So that was a fun thing that happened during COVID. I always kind of doodled or scribbled when I was younger, but I always like got in trouble doing it because you do it on like bills, you do it on important paper. Like you just don't know. You just want to like draw on things and like that's what's around. And then, so I kind of always got in trouble. So I kind of just stopped. I didn't even think about it. And then, you know, pre-COVID, I was like working with acrylics. I was working with paint. And then as COVID hit, there was like so much time that I was doing the same thing, like in my apartment, but it's the process of like waiting for everything to dry. And then everything was like laid out. I ended up pivoting to the iPad. And that for me just like opened up a whole world of creativity. Like I had an art store on my screen. It was just so cool to use it. And I loved that I was able to take it on the go wherever I was. So I kind of started randomly. I was thinking about a lot of my friends that left New York at the time, and I was thinking where we love to go. And I just like randomly started drawing it or drawing like those restaurants. And I made an Instagram account. And it's funny because I made my Instagram account like Jen Scribbles NY. And I thought I was like so witty at the time. And I'm just like, I like, my name is Jenny, but I put the scribbles under the end because I was like, oh, how cool. Jen Scribbles NY. Now everyone just calls me Jen. And within a week, I had my first like brand collab. And it was really funny because they were like, we've been a fan of yours for so long. And I'm like, oh my God, I've only been out for a week. And I just said yes to everything. And then kind of like through that process, do you know Green Pointers?
Yes.
Yeah. They're amazing and have been super supportive of me like from the start. They ended up writing, like doing like a little interview of me. And then after that, it was just like people were asking me like, what is your website? Where can I buy your stuff? And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, now I'm going to make a website. And I did. I made a website and it just kind of like snowballed from there.
How much of your time these days are you spending on illustration?
Oh, really great question. I just got my first art studio. So it's fun when I'm not working. So like March, again, we know the cadence. March is slow. So I've been trying to go there like every day from like 9 to 5, just like sketching up ideas. Now, because so many people have seen me or find me on Instagram, I have a lot of commissions that I do. And now I'm doing a lot of like, brand projects, which is super fun. So sometimes I don't really have time to sketch the things that I want to sketch. So everything's kind of like now like work focused.
How does a commission typically work? Do people come to you with the idea of what they want you to make and then you do that for them?
Yeah, they do. They find me on Instagram, word of mouth. I do no biz dev, which is to my detriment, very bad. But yeah, everyone just kind of like finds me on social media, and I'm just very conversational. I use social media. I use social media very different. Someone made this statement. Don't let social media use you. You use social media. So that's kind of like how I use it. I use it very purposefully. I only stay on it for like 90 minutes a day. And a lot of that is just honestly following up on texts from people who are curious about doing a commission, or maybe they're looking for something specific. I'm now entering this world too of doing like brides find me. So I'm doing a lot of like illustrations for like save the dates or wedding invites. And then I'm working also with like hospitality groups and hotel groups, or like they're really fun to work with because they kind of always know the vision and you can kind of be in control of what you show them. So it's fun to have that kind of like artistic, just like artistic control. So that's kind of how it's working right now.
I'm always interested in how people and artists use habits to their advantage. I think you and I share this one of having a habit of limiting internet time or social media time, basically like fasting, having like a long fasting period between these massive dopamine bursts. What habits have helped you, or are you committed to, that have assisted you in your modeling career, also in your illustration career? You mentioned the 9 to 5 sort of cadence of going into an art studio, but are there any others that have really, that you swear by, that have also been helpful long-term for you?
That's a good one. For me, like one of my biggest, the 9 to 5, I think is super important to kind of have that ritual. Even if you're not creative, being in a place where you're dedicated to something from like 9 to 5, like has always helped me. I do, for me, I have like a gratitude journal that I write in, but it's in the shower. So, every time I take a shower, every day I do 3 things that I'm grateful for. So I think that helps me think positively of like both jobs that I have and just like the world I live in. And then for me, probably putting a lot of things on airplane mode is super important. Yeah.
Where do you hope this illustration is heading? I know compared to your modeling career, this is a very relatively new thing, but where do you think it's going? How much more of your time do you want to be spending?
Oh, I want to spend like so much time on it. I don't know. There are a few projects that like I definitely want to do, and I'm now finding artists that like I really look up to, and like the vision of like what I could be is like really exciting. I would love to have kind of I don't know. I would love to do my catalog is so big of like the things I have in New York. It's like, I would love to do a book about New York, but I want people to be able to like jot down like where they've been, but like under my illustration. So I kind of want to do a guidebook for people that love New York, people who are visiting in New York, and not just New York. I want to do it for like other cities too that like I love. I love Mexico City. I love Paris. LA is fantastic. Austin is so fun. But I kind of want to I just like want people to like know their community and know their neighborhood. And I also want to like do things on a bigger scale. Right now I use my iPad, but like it's been so long since I've like worked with paint. I'm like just getting back to it now that I have the studio, and it's so fun to just go in there and create something messy. and it's okay for it not to be good. I want to do art classes. I want to like know my community a little bit better. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about towards summer is like art classes.
When you say studio, this is separate from your home. So you're physically going. How important is that to you to have a dedicated separate location for you to focus on this stuff?
Oh, that's a great question. I probably, if you would have asked me like a year ago, I would have been like, I don't think it's that important. Then I realized I was like, the only way I'm going to like grow is if I like get a bigger space and kind of grow into that space. So for me, it's super important to have. It's like my happy place. I like started putting a lot of work on the walls. I just like have a cool kind of like chill section. I bring my dog, but I can like focus. Like I can work on the sofa, or it's like I'm working at the desk, or I'm pulling a canvas out and then I'm painting something for like 20 minutes. It's just so fun to have like a creative play space that I can't even put into words, like how meaningful it is for me.
It's tough to make it as an artist, as we were talking about before we started the recording, just from an economic perspective. What do you think it is about your illustrations that are a bit of a separator that makes you rather unique, where people are coming to you in this sort of volume, being interested in your work in the first place?
It sounds like I don't know, because like, first of all, like I'm self-taught. So I'm not, and my work is commercial. My work is light. Maybe that's why. I also think that like I'm drawing the things, I love these places. And I always think about like these places that we go to in terms of like, we go to these restaurants, we go to these bars, we go to a lot of these places because it's like a time for celebration. It's like I've been to Frank's in the East Village probably like for 11 birthday parties. You know, there are other places in New York where I've gone to like have anniversary dinners, and like, I don't know, Wonton Garden is my favorite soup place. If I can get any of my friends to go, like this is where I'm going to take them. And I have these memories, and I think about all of the other people passing within the vicinity of this space, how wonderful their memories must be. And then to have a work on the wall where like you have this memory, and then when someone is like, oh my God, I love this place, it becomes such a conversation starter where like you immediately connect through like your community or how long you've been going to these places. So I would think that like people deep down inside, not just probably like are drawn to my work, but they have a love for these establishments as much as I have a love for these establishments.
That's very well put. You said Frank's, you said Wonton.
Yeah, Wonton Garden.
So what are the other places that you've either created or just personally that are those sort of classic, meaningful New York institutions that you love?
Wow, that's a good one. Especially because like so many of these institutions are going away.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, like when I first moved here, I moved to Greenpoint like, I don't know, like 11 years ago. And you're new. So there was this great bar called Matchless. And it was like a rock bar, hardcore bar, but like then sometimes they would have like hardcore karaoke nights on Tuesdays. It was a vibe. It was like the only bar like in this area at this time. It's not there anymore. They just like, they knocked it down and it's now a high rise. And it's just like across the street was like the sister to it called Enid's, which was like one of the first restaurants where like you would ping pong between the two. You would like eat dinner and then you would go drink, and then your other friends would be eating dinner, and then you would walk over and say hi to them. So a lot of times I'm drawing these places that I love or that I have loved, and it's like all I have is kind of like the memory of these places that I loved. Like the place isn't there anymore.
Are there any other ones that are still around that people who might listen to this and just are either New Yorkers or they're visiting and they're looking for that some local gems that people have spent a lot of time at, that they love it enough to potentially put like an image of it up on their wall in their home?
Okay. There's a coffee shop in Greenpoint that I love. It's called Crema, and it's owned by a husband and wife couple. They are the sweetest people in the world. They got married. It was like their dream to open this coffee shop, and then they did. And they didn't take a honeymoon. Instead, they opened this coffee shop.
Wow.
They also make an amazing homemade chai that you can like buy in bulk. That is like one of my favorite places. Let me think. Where else? God, what else? I love Mala Project. Szechuan for me right now.
I've heard of that place. What is that?
There's one in the East Village. That was the original one. And then now there's one in like Williamsburg. But you kind of like, it's like a choose your own adventure of what vegetables and meat and everything you want. And then you can decide on like the spiciness of it. I tend to like it very spicy. So that is always like a neighborhood hit if you're in Williamsburg, but if you're in the East Village, it's also like another neighborhood hit. Frank's, it's like one of my favorite places in the world. Just like the lemon pasta is usually what I'm getting there. In Chinatown, Wonton Garden, it's the best place to get noodle soup. There's another one, 456, which is also great. It's like you can have a dinner there with 8 people and the bill comes out to like $25 each. Wu's Wonton, also in Dime Square, is a great one. I think I like Asian food a little bit more than anything else.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I always like to close these by asking artists how they think about the word success. And I would love to know, with your kind of dual creative world that you're in right now, if we were to talk in a year or two, when you think about that duration of time, how do you think about the word success? What does success mean to you as you think about your life and your future?
Off the cuff, without maybe overthinking it in this moment, I think for me, success is being in a place where I can maintain my lifestyle and ethics/morals in a place that makes me feel good. Yeah, and in a place that like makes me feel good. Like I think that like that to me would like be successful.
Having a lifestyle and enough income in a way that you find ethically appropriate, and that you can sleep well at night. I don't need, I think, I don't know. I don't think people should be billionaires. I don't think I need, probably like a few years ago, I think I would have thought I needed more to be successful. I don't think I do. I don't think I need validation. Like I'm super stoked at like what's happening in my life. So like I just feel like if I can keep doing the same thing that I'm doing, but like with the same integrity and maybe with the mindset of maybe like helping other people along the way that like are looking to do the same thing, I think that would be successful. What did you think a couple of years ago you thought you needed that you no longer believe you need?
Oh, I think I was like so like infatuated with like the millennial Instagram life of like post your vacation, post your accomplishments, post whatever house, how big it is, all of that stuff, post your outfits. And that time is kind of like come and gone. And I don't think, like sometimes even when I see that, to me, that's like so boring.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.